I'm just enjoying looking at this view from it. I'm in Santa Barbara at an event that is connected with Dallas Willard and the Martin Institute and Cultura with my friend Michael Ware. This is the day the Lord has made. Rejoice, be glad in this day. We're talking about habits, and Michael, you might remember, you might well know about him. He is the CEO and founder of the Center for Christianity and Public Life in Washington, D.C. And he is somebody who has been deeply shaped by Jesus and has a huge burden for public life, and was an advisor in the White House at an early age. I think you were too young to go to the bar with people when the rest of the stuff was
exactly
you
right.
couldn't even tell them you were too young. You had to make up reasons why not to go.
Probably good for me.
Yeah. And Michael's just one of my favorite people. One of my favorite pictures in the world is Michael fixing pasta with somebody else who's very dear to me.
Yes.
And you both have just these enormous smiles on your face. He is a person of immense joy. Now, my wife is another person of immense joy. She hates the word habits.
I watched that. I heard a little bit about that.
Talking about habits, so you're another good, spontaneous, fun person to have on here, as opposed to us drudges. And we might get to your own personal life, and if there's any particular, when you think about habit, what helps keep you alive and with as much joy as you have. But I'm really glad to have this talk because as Christians, we also are citizens, and folks watch this. Some are in the United States, some are in different countries in the world. In our own country, when I've talked to pastors, the last couple of years have been really hard because often they feel like they've discovered through COVID, through the polarization that's happened politically, surfacing of racial injustice. We have another video that's very disturbing right now, that it seems like a surprising number of people, even in churches, identify more with a political party or identity than they do with Jesus. Yeah. And there are also habits about our participation in civic life. We get news, we form opinions, we express opinions. You think about this stuff as deeply as anybody I know. You want to bring the spirit of Jesus to that. What are a few habits that concern you when you look at particularly people in the United States when it comes to news, political involvement, political expression, stuff that we all do all the time? So let's just start with there. What are a few habits that concern you that you could wave a wand you would change?
Yeah. Well, the first thing I'd say is that these things are not distractions from the spiritual life. We need to care for the whole person, and the social is part of the person, and the political is part of the social. And so if we sort of try and move these things to the side as distractions from formation, what they'll become is actually areas for deformation. And so
I should have told you, see that tiny little green dot right there?
Yeah.
That's the camera. So if you want to talk to anybody.
Yeah, sure. And so that's, we need to be thinking about that.
So good.
In terms of some bad habits, I think some people treat politics and look at politics as a form of entertainment. And so they stew in content in which they have no intent of actually acting on, and which actually, if they were honest with themselves, aren't really informative, but do get their emotions. And so you need to be careful and attentive to whether it's reading the newspaper and how you're reacting to that, or having cable news on more often than you should. I would imagine that there's a correlation between listening to political talk radio and road rage. So those are things to be attentive to.
Can I just pause there and say,
sure.
ouch?
Yeah.
I mean, that I'm aware as you say that of sometimes reading something where I know this topic or name will make me angry. It's probably to get a charge of either self-righteous something or hope for some bad news or scandal or something. Wow. Yeah.
And so this isn't to say we don't want to avoid all news. This isn't saying to sort of insulate oneself, but be attentive and invite people who you trust in your life to have the authority to be attentive to those dynamics with you. I think another another habit when it comes to these things, and this is actually interesting. We just did a podcast episode with Sissy Goff and David Thomas of a Daystar Ministries in Nashville. And we were talking about parenting and politics. And Sissy said something that was really interesting to me. We were talking about the way that politics is creating conflict within families, particularly between parents and children. Yeah. And she said, it's not the disagreement with that stokes the divide. Sometimes, and what she was seeing in her practice quite a bit, was the inability of either the parent or the child to stop going back to the site of disagreement. Oh. So this is especially harmful through like passive aggressive, through little like through little like
you're killing me, Smalls.
Through little like side comments that aren't even meant to engage, but are meant to like poke and prod. And that does something to our spirit. And then sort of in our relationships, there's something disregarding about it that we want to be careful about. Yeah.
Wow. No, that one too. That's like super aware as you say that of my capacity for that, especially being Scandinavian, passive aggressive behavior, the national temperament. But there's something that can feel like just a little jab there, and that can make me feel a little superior.
Yeah.
Okay, so then for somebody who says, I really want to try to do well with this, I would like to bring my best self to this dimension of life, and God knows that's needed. If you could wave a wand and have people adopt one habit as it relates to society, politics, citizenship, what would it be?
Silence is a reminder to us that our opinions and our political positions do not and will not save us. And we have a culture right now where many people feel compelled to sort of make their position known on everything at every opportunity. And silence is a way to both. So I think it addresses that issue. I think it also helps us to remember that we are not just the sum of the various inputs and information streams that are in our life. And there are a lot of political streams of information, billions and billions of dollars to sort of grab our attention. So silence helps with that. I think the second thing I'd say is anonymous service.
Wow. Particularly,
I advise this particularly for those in civic life that have sort of civic vocations, but I think this relates more broadly. And anonymous service is important because in politics is so much about taking credit and being seen as being on the right side of issues, so that even people, a tragedy happens or a conflict happens and people will post on their Facebook, well, I donated too, and that's I'm on the right side of this issue.
Yeah.
And so what does it feel like to support a cause without someone knowing about it? And you really get to see like what your motivations are. Wow. People will get a charge out of announcing a political or sort of advocacy issue, and they think that the charge is from doing a good thing. But if they take away the credit or sort of the public proclamation of it, they find, oh, where is that charge? I'm still doing the good thing. Maybe the charge I was getting wasn't from the good thing.
Wow.
And so I found that to be helpful.
So basically, stop using entertainment as politics to make yourself feel superior. Stop jabbing other people in your life that you disagree with. Shut up. And instead of promoting yourself, do something nice, serve other people without broadcasting it.
Yeah, that's it.
My other question is, I want to know how you keep your joy, but we're going to have to save that for another time.
Sure.
Would you?
I'd love to come back.
Okay. All right. Remember, love is habit forming. Now go laugh. Go have some joy. Thanks, Michael.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Tim. Thanks for joining us. You mean so much to us as a community, and we hope that this series helps you build some new habits in your life to help you grow spiritually one day at a time. And we want to hear from you throughout this series. If you have questions, you can put them in the comment box wherever you're watching, or you can email us or text us. And at the end of the series, we're going to sit down with John and talk about some of your questions. For more resources, you can visit becomenew.me. And to spread the word, you can hit subscribe, share this video with a friend, or give us a review on podcasts wherever you're listening. We'll see you next time.